we are live. Let me make sure my mic is working. Let's see, mic check. If you can hear me okay, please put a 1 in the chat or a thumbs up. Boy, it's been, looks like almost a week since I've been live. For those that may not know, we've been out there searching for Aiden Clune, who went missing 2 years ago in the Cherry Creek Mountain Range in Wells, Nevada. We've been out there searching relentlessly. Recently, we found the first piece of evidence in 2 years, and that was his pair of shoes. It was a huge find. But with that, finding those shoes, we do believe there's a good possibility he could be out there. And we have covered so much ground. Anyway, we'll be doing a live going over the latest because we just did a 2-day trip out there a few days ago. Covered tons of ground, especially with the drone and on foot. But again, we'll talk about that in a future live show, maybe tomorrow or Friday. But I just wanted to kind of update because I'm sure people are wondering how that went. And I'm still reviewing drone footage because we did a lot of droning. Of course, a lot of on-foot searching, but we're getting close. Getting so close, I think, to finding him. But again, we'll do a separate show for him. So anyway, moving on to Caleb Harris, who we've covered since he went missing. March 4th, I believe. We're looking at almost 4 months since he went missing. Not a lot of details. If you're not familiar with the case, I will do a quick recap video. But recently, on Monday, there was remains found. Now, they haven't been identified, but there's been a lot that's happened since those few days that we'll kind of talk about, but I don't want to get too far ahead. But in speculation and just what I've heard from inside sources, it sounds to me there's a good chance this could be Caleb's remains. Again, I don't know. This is purely speculation, but from the information I've heard, I think there's a good chance this could be him. And for those that don't know where the remains were found, they were found very close to where he went missing. But then the question is, if that is his remains, was it foul play or was it an accident? So much to go over. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Let me get the video ready first. There we go. This is just a quick recap for anybody that's not familiar with Caleb Harris's story. We'll play that, and then we'll get into the recent news about the remains, talk about where they were found, and all that stuff. So again, welcome everybody. For those that are new to the channel, welcome. I am Chris with Monsters Under Our Bed. We cover true crime, mystery to the missing. And here is Caleb Harris's backstory here.
Police, volunteers, and family members continue to search for 21-year-old Texas A&M Corpis Christi student Caleb Harris. Now, he has been missing since Monday.
He wanted to address, he asked me if I would send this message to all the cyber sleuths, people in the true crime community that really do care about, they are getting to a point, law enforcement is getting to a point that they do have some direction on where they're looking and what they're looking at.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody, where we cover true crime, mystery to the missing. Caleb Harris, a 21-year-old college student out of Corpus Christi, Texas, went missing on the early hours of March 4th, sometime just before 3 a.m. He just vanished. He was last seen with his roommates caught on this ring cam walking their new dog. This was taken at approximately 1 a.m. in the morning. Shortly later, Caleb Harris would order Uber Eats at 2:45 a.m. along with Snapchatting with his sister. Then after that, he sent his final Snapchat picture, which was received by his friend at 3:03 a.m., which shows a foggy picture of a bridge, which was taken just outside his apartment complex located here. The next day, the roommate awoke to find that Caleb Harris was missing and that his Uber Eats order was still sitting outside. So what actually happened to Caleb Harris? And more importantly, what is this new lead that law enforcement allegedly has? First, we need to go back to the timeline and take a closer look as they learned Caleb Harris's phone went dark at 2:58 a.m. This time is crucial as this means this photo that Caleb took had to have been taken just before 2:58 a.m., meaning sometime between ordering Uber Eats at 2:45 a.m. and 2:58 a.m. when his phone went dark, something terrible happened to Caleb Harris. Jennifer Coffindaffer, who is a former FBI agent, has been covering this case and has been speaking with the family and doing many interviews. Although it's been nearly 3 months since Caleb's disappearance and no major developments in the case, it has not gone cold. According to Coffindaffer, in her latest interview, it seems law enforcement has a lead, and if by chance that lead doesn't pan out, they will release some kind of details to the public.
Is getting to a point that they do have some direction on where they're looking and what they're looking at. And so they're not at a brick wall yet, but the minute they get to a brick wall, they are going to make a release of information when they think they're at the point that it's going to help the case. And they don't think that right now. They don't think that what they're sitting on and not sharing, it's going to be helpful to share right now. But he wanted to assure everyone in the community.
So what could this... Okay, so that's... turn that back up. So that's just a quick recap on Caleb Harris and the night he went missing. And then Jennifer Coffindaffer, who did an interview with the entire family, which was probably, boy, gosh, I want to say that was almost 3 weeks ago, hinted, basically saying that they do have some kind of lead, and if they couldn't figure it out, then they would release it to the public to see if the public could help. And that was kind of the last big real update. And like I said, I felt like it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And then it's been pretty quiet since then. And now, Monday, actually, no, let me keep that back up. We had some huge news come out where they found some remains. And so we're going to play some of the news clips. There's not a lot. We'll talk about where they were found. This is quite strange. And again, the body has not been identified, but I've had some inside sources tell me about some of the things about the body itself, because apparently a picture got leaked for a moment. I'm not sure if it was on the Facebook group. I'm not sure exactly where, but I just got a few details from what apparently the picture portrayed. Again, you have to take everything with a grain of salt in this, but let's skip to the news article here. And here we go.
Human remains have been found not far from where a New Braunfels man went missing in Corpis Christi. Now, Corpus Christi police confirming tonight that the remains were found in a water lift station. The collection point is 40 feet deep and had to be drained to recover the remains. Now, to be clear, there's been no confirmation that the remains belong to 21-year-old Caleb Harris, who you see here, who mysteriously disappeared from his apartment in March. We'll, of course, continue to follow this story and bring you any updates as we learn them here on air and online at KENS5.
Confirms the discovery of human remains inside a wastewater lift station near Ennis Jocelyn at Lexington and Holly Road.
Yeah, several agencies along with CCPD and CCFD have been on scene since 3 o'clock this afternoon. That's also where we find Josh Maxwell. He's live on scene for us tonight. Josh, what have you learned so far?
Rudy Leslie, while the activity has died down quite a bit, I do want to say that it's still a very active investigation. In fact, when I've been out here since around 7:30, and the only trucks that I've been able to see leave from this stretch of road are from CCPD's forensic team and their crime lab team. Now, I also do want to point out that human remains were found at this wastewater collection site right here off of Lexington Road. And what I can start off our newscast and tell you is that there is no evidence at this time that these human remains are in any way connected to the disappearance of missing TAMUCC student Caleb Harris. However, the location
is very close for those that don't know, and we'll show that on the map here, but they are literally less than a half a block away. And I don't think it's a coincidence that it's in the same direction as they were the last kind of phone ping. They didn't have an exact location, but they said it was kind of west of his last known spot, which was by the bridge. And that is just right where, not right, but it's in that general area where these remains were found. But very fishy.
Far from
and of course, they have not been confirmed to be Caleb, but we will talk about those and some other stuff. But
Harris's apartment complex is fueling speculation, and actually to add some context to that speculation, I do want to tell you that I did speak with an elderly couple a couple of hours ago, and they were telling me that they actually parked on the side of the road for around 3.5 hours just because they were also curious about who these remains belonged to. But here's what police had to say.
And to clarify, this whole location was searched days after the initial report. So all this whole area has been searched many times over by volunteers, specialized K9 units.
You're speaking of Caleb Harris?
Yes.
Now, CCPD did tell...
Okay, so I'm going to skip this. Yeah, I picked up that comment because I remember having the retainer. He's probably got the retainer and the braces. That's no fun. Yeah. Kathy, thank you so much for speaking for the missing. It's my pleasure. This is what I love to do, is to help people. Of course, actions speak louder than words, and that's why we've been going out searching for Aiden Clune. And we're going to bring him home. But again, we'll talk about the latest in a different live for Aiden. But I thought this was pretty big news here. So let's skip forward here.
Disappearance, but recent rains may have uncovered the remains.
So apparently there was a lot of activity, a lot of water, precipitation that may have brought up the remains. I'm not 100% familiar with how everything works with the sewer system out there, but this is where the remains were found compared to where he was last missing, and it's literally 0.2 miles from where he was last seen. And so here's a picture. There was like a live show or somebody that went out live. I believe that would have been yesterday. Just looking at chat. And he was showing the exact location of where they were kind of pulling apparently these remains out. And again, like I said, I have some inside information about the remains, but here's just kind of showing where he was last seen, which is, here's his apartments right here. And the bridge is literally right there where the ditch is at. And the remains were literally found. So here's just kind of a look at where he Snapchatted at the bridge here. And just across this way, you can actually kind of see it if you zoomed in enough. There is a lift station, they call it. And I have a video kind of describing what the lift station does and everything. But basically, sewer lines run into it, and then you have this lift station that actually then flows the water to the water treatment station, I believe. Again, I'm not a expert on that kind of stuff, but I was kind of looking at how this stuff works. But some people speculate it's possibly may have fell into a manhole. I don't know. I mean, that has happened to people, so it's definitely possible. But with his size, I think it'd be kind of hard. But it's not impossible. But yeah, where he was last seen is right here, and the remains were pulled out of this lift station, which is 0.2 miles. So again, although they have not been identified, I think there's a good possibility that this could be his remains. And we'll talk about the body here in just a second, but I wanted to play this video. This is kind of explains how the lift station works. But it's got a bunch of music to it that I think I might get copyrighted. So let me pull up this picture here. Where is it? I think this is a kind of just a generic example of what this is for anybody that's wondering like what we're talking about, what he fell in, or where the remains were in. We don't know what happened. And we still don't have confirmation if it is him, but I think there's a good chance. But, you know, we have the public sewer main that goes down, and then we have what's called like pump station, lift stations. And this is something that where I believe the remains were found in here. And then this usually facilitates the water that comes in, and then it flows to the wastewater treatment plant. And so it sounds like the remains were found in this area here, from what I understand, which is pretty wild. So here's a video of them kind of showing this little building and what it does. And it just kind of monitors like the levels and everything. So it is kind of interesting. It makes you wonder how long the body was in there. Was it, you know, if it was foul play, was it somebody that dumped him in there recently? I'm sure a medical examiner will be able to determine the time of death. Considering from what I understand, the remains are fairly intact. I've heard some people say that they were, when people hear human remains, they think pieces, but from what I understand, the body was fairly intact. I wanted to skip it, but he's down in here. There's like a little elevator, and then there's another manhole, different little sewer line that goes in. But this is basically just kind of a fenced off area, not very big. Has a little lift station that goes down. They can monitor the levels many different ways. Again, I'm not an expert in this. Anybody knows, you can explain it better, please, in chat. Again, I was just kind of researching this before going live, because this is very interesting. Cougar Chick says, wouldn't they know if a sewer pipe was clogged with something like a body? So that's a great question. Like I said, I wish I could play what they're talking about, but they have this music that I didn't realize when I downloaded this video. Let's see. On our control panel. Yeah, it's still in there. But they do talk about how this is supposed to keep an eye on the levels. So you would think if a body was in there for a certain amount of time, that maybe that would obviously cause an issue where it would, flag and have them come out and check on something. But from what I understand, that they were just doing not daily checks, but I don't know how often they come out. But basically, a worker went out to this lift station, I believe on Monday, and discovered there was a body in there. So here's one more news report, and then we'll look at the guy that filmed, I think the next day, because I think they were still out there, and I think he talks about kind of how the lift station works a little bit.
He says it could be a while before investigators have an answer. Now, Harris hasn't been seen since March 4th near his Corpis Christi apartment, near where he went to school at Texas A&M. He was hanging out with some friends, and when everyone else was going to bed, he stayed up going to order food. He eventually left his apartment without his shoes, wallet, or his keys. And Caleb did have his phone with him, but it was later turned off. For months, family and friends have had search parties and posted flyers and billboards across the state. Now, there's also a $50,000 reward for any information that could lead to his return. Now, this morning, we are waiting for more from the medical examiner's office, and once we get those answers, we will update you on air and online. Reporting live from the broadcast center, I'm Tawny Davis. Back to you.
For the first time tonight, news.
Everybody is
long time. I mean, we've all felt like illustration, search warrants.
Okay, so here is the video. Let me pull up Google Earth or Google Maps, actually. But yeah, here's just again one more, just a picture, kind of basically explaining it. Yeah, so I think it's a mix between gravity, depending on where the homes and where the pipes are going in, and then it's also, you know, I think it's both gravity and it's pumped through the sewer line from there to the treatment plant, at least in this example. Again, I don't know the blueprints of this station, but here is a guy. I think he's out there on Tuesday, so this would have been yesterday.
All right, good afternoon, Corpus Christi. We are here live at the pump station off of Ennis Jocelyn, right across the street from the cottage apartments where Texas A&M student Caleb Harris went missing on March the 4th. And just due to the proximity, guys, we're here at yesterday's find of human remains at this pump station. The pump station right now is being currently maintenance and being pumped, getting cleaned out on the pumps by the Corpus Christi Water Department. I have some information here in regard to some of the schematics and some of the engineering that goes behind this pump station. Now, some of the early developments show that the body that was found yesterday may have been washed along the sewer lines to this pump station. This pump station, what it does, it pumps the sewage water, wastewater, to the nearest location, which is going to be the treatment plant along the Oso Bay near Texas A&M Corpus Christi.
So basically, just kind of how I, so it's basically kind of what this graphic here depicts is you've got obviously a sewer line, sewer main flows into this, and then you've got the pump station, and then from there it flows to the wastewater treatment plant. That's what he's talking about. That's what he's saying the schematics are from this. Again, I'm not an expert in this. If anybody has, knows more about this, can explain it better, please. But it is just in a nutshell. Let's just say this is Caleb. But again, we don't know. We have to wait till it's officially confirmed. And then we'll talk about the body here in a second. But again, you have another male college student that is found in a body of water. If you just break it down into the core details, if this is Caleb Harris, it's pretty wild that here in Texas, or there in Texas, I should say, Lady Bird Lake, of course, the smiley face killer. So it is pretty wild that you've got just this kind of basic same thing that's happening with other students and college men being found in bodies of water. But again, how did he get in there? Did he fall into a manhole and then went through? A lot of people are saying that it's impossible. I've seen it in chat. Somebody said that there was possibly a manhole that was open. Let me pull up that graphic real quick if I can. But I was talking with one of my mods, and they said that would be nearly impossible because they had Texas EquiSearch out there, and this would have been one of the first areas that they would have searched. So here is his apartments. This is where he would have been. Here's where the remains were found. And someone's claiming that they discovered uncovered manholes. Now, again, people have fallen into manholes. So that is something that does happen. But I would think if they were doing a grid search, they're typically shoulder to shoulder. And I even have footage of some of the searches early on, and you can see them. They're shoulder to shoulder. And I guarantee you, I'm assuming this is a cornfield. I'm not sure if this is also a cornfield or whatever. But you would think they would come across that and say, oh, hey, we've got a manhole open here. Maybe we should investigate it and then close this damn thing up so nobody else falls in it. So, but again, obviously we still don't have all the details, but it is kind of fascinating. Trump Girl, thank you for becoming a member and supporting the channel with the $20 super sticker. That is so awesome. Thank you so much. As you guys know, we go out and search for the missing. We don't only cover true crime, and that really helps for our next upcoming searches. So thank you so much. Just Ginge. I'm sorry, I can't see it because it's where it's positioned. I'm just gonna say Just G for right now. I apologize. Hey, know you have been searching for Aiden. I'm a lurker mostly. I admire your genuine plight to get out there. Kudos to all out there looking. It's not much, but hope it helps. Pray you find him soon. Thank you so much, Just G. That helps so much. I promise you, and thank you. Every little bit does help. And Olivia, thank you so much for the member for 10 months. And Black Witter, I missed you. I'll get you here in just a minute. But let me play this and I'll talk about what I heard about the body.
With that being said, this pump station only has a 15 to 36 inch diameter pipe that runs to this pump station where
36
waste goes through the line and into this pump station to be pumped, but it cannot be pumped through the pumps. So yesterday's find of a body clearly shows that somewhere in this location a body was placed deliberately, just due to the way the manholes are constructed. You're talking a very thick piece of metal that you have to lift up, and I just tried to lift up one of these manhole covers, and the manhole cover, and we're going to take a little walk through this area. This is going to be a drainage ditch along this area here, right? You have a drainage ditch leading along this area, along the cottages and into the Oso Bay, where floodwaters can go into the Oso Bay. With that being said, guys, we are here live at this location where Corpus Christi Water is maintaining the pump station here. How's it going? How's it going, ma'am? Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. Okay. So we're gonna have to move our truck real quick. Just give me hang on.
Oh no!
A second, guys.
He's parked in the wrong way. Okay, so for a minute. So again, what I'm going to talk about is just hearsay. But the person that I talked to, I do trust what they had seen. Apparently, the photo, I don't know, one of the workers that were helping recover the body took a picture, and then I don't know exactly where it was posted. I don't know if it was Facebook group, Reddit, whatever. It got posted online, and some people saw it. Of course, it was quickly taken down, but one of the people I know had come across it, and from what they say, the body appeared to be intact. Let me look at my notes so I can remember. So they said the body appeared to be intact, because, they said human remains, so it sounded like there was, pieces, but from what this person said, they assumed the body was intact. The body did appear to be blue, which, when your body is obviously in those kind of stages, I'm sure it's going to turn certain colors. But so they couldn't tell because his pants he was wearing was teal, kind of blue. And they said it did kind of look like that color, but also the top of him also kind of looked like the blue as well. So they couldn't tell if that was just the entire body or that could be, his pants. They just couldn't tell. It looked like the body was face down. And they said it appeared to be a male, but obviously, we don't know. And that's all just kind of hearsay. But again, that's, of course, there was a photo that somebody leaked out and certain people saw it. But that's what I heard. But again, the blue thing, with the body decomposing, I know that it changed color like that. I would think like blue or something like that. So again, they couldn't tell if that was his teal pants or if that was just the entire body in certain stage of decomposition. So that's what we have. It's 0.2 miles from where he was last seen. I think there's a good possibility it's him, but again, we still have to wait. We'll look at the official report as well. As a matter of fact, I'll pull that up right now if you haven't seen it, so we can read it. Actually, let me pull up the one that I can zoom in for you guys, which is this one here. So, update in this, I think this was posted today from Corpus Christi. It says, Corpus Christi Police Department robbery homicide detectives are continuing the investigation into the human remains discovered Monday afternoon at the Perry Place wastewater lift station, located off 5300 block of Lexington Road. City water employees discovered the remains while conducting maintenance operations at about 3:30 p.m. Monday afternoon and immediately contacted the police department. Detectives are attempting to determine how the human remains found their way into the wastewater lift station collection well. Yeah, and that's, I mean, we could do a whole show just on how those remains got in there. It goes on to say the remains, which bore no obvious signs of homicide. So I think the key word here is obvious. So keep that in mind, which bore no obvious signs of homicide. So, I mean, obviously, you know, let's say if there was foul play and this is Caleb, we're just doing hypothetical. Maybe if he was strangled, and his body's in a certain stage of decomposition, they can't really see the bruises on the neck. Then they would have to check the bone, like the hyoid bone, you know. A lot of times the hyoid bone gets broken when you're strangled. Not all the time, but it's a most likely scenario. Anyway, it says the remains were transported to Nueces, probably butchered that, County Medical Examiner's Office for examination. Due to the advanced state of decomposition, the ME office was unable to make identification, nor provide a manner or cause of death at this time. The remains are being sent to the University of North Texas Center for Human Identification for DNA analysis. And then it has the UNTCHI is the foremost resource in U.S. for identification of missing persons. So obviously they're sending it over to a lab to do DNA analysis. I would assume maybe a few days to a couple weeks. I'm sure maybe they'll probably take their time, especially if it ends up being Caleb. Maybe they'll release that it's Caleb and then not talk about the cause of death, because if it is foul play, then I'm sure it's going to take much longer for them to, have to do an autopsy, and that will take time.
Truck out of the way, and let's see if we can. Just give me 1 second. I have to move my vehicle out of the way so the pump trucks can get out of here. Give me 1 second. Should have parked better here, but please share this video with your friends and your family. We're going to get a little bit into depth about how this could have happened, and just give me 1 second, guys.
So let me know what you guys think in chat. You guys think this is foul play, or did he just fall in and he's been in there for...
We're just going to move out the way real quick.
We're looking at almost 4 months since he's been missing. Let's see. So it would have been the 24th. So almost 3 months and 3 weeks. That sounds about right. Yeah, 3 months and 3 weeks he's been missing. It'll be interesting to know the condition of the body. I'm sure they'll be able to tell within a certain time frame of when that body, because obviously we don't know if it's Caleb yet, but whenever this body gets identified, when it actually this person had passed away or was killed, that'll be interesting. If they say, this body's only started decomping. It was only 2 weeks ago that this body was likely put in there, then I would think this was probably definitely clearly foul play, but it'll be interesting to see what the Emmy report is on this. Just G, thank you so much for coming to members, supporting the show. Aquarian1, thank you so much for supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. Debbie says, in my opinion, foul play. Reddit told a lot. Yeah, so for anybody who doesn't know, it still hasn't been officially confirmed about the Reddit, but Justin on TikTok, he's a fairly pretty good source. I think he's talked with the family at least once, if I believe. And he said that, again, this is still with a grain of salt, that Reddit account is Caleb's. And it was very active up until the day he went missing. And so it's possible that he was out there and maybe, hopefully out there maybe wanting to meet somebody. And unfortunately, the wrong person picked him up. Something happened. But the question now is how in the hell, if this is Caleb, we still don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but if this is Caleb, how in the hell did the body get in this well station? Like, did they have to put him in there, or did they dump him down through a manhole and then he got sucked up into there? So many questions. Supposedly there's supposed to be some kind of safety device. Again, I was trying to do a little bit of research on lift stations again, and I'm still pretty novice at it. But it sounds like you can see it's a gated, it's got barbed wire fence, fenced off. So, could it be a city worker that did this, or I don't know. So many. Let me know what you guys think in chat. There's just so many things going through my mind at this point of how he ended up in there. But from what I understand, he was down in the well. So again, and I don't know all as far as like the blueprint of it. I understand the basic concept of the lift station, but I don't know. This is so strange. Elizabeth says, opening and pipes 36 inches, diameter, pretty small for a guy to fit into and float along. Seems like abduction, violence, and dumped. Right. And then it's like, why? I don't know. It's just wild. And how long was this body been in there if this was Caleb? Just absolutely wild. That's what we were trying to figure out, Cougar Chick. I couldn't see any cameras on this. That's what he says.
To be affected in this area, but all right, we're good. Thank you for letting me know. Let's move on. So what we do know is that the remains that were found in this pump station right here in front of me, this is going to be your tan building. It's very small. Okay, it's about 40 feet by 25 feet. All right. The body that was found inside of this pump station wet well, which is, it goes down 17, 20 feet, 40 feet. It has not been confirmed. I don't have the exact depth of that well that goes in to the ground, right? But there was a body that was floating, or some type of human remains floating, that the Corpus Christi Water Department workers had found yesterday around 3:30 p.m., right? Around 3:31 p.m. yesterday. That was Monday, June 24th. Now, right across the street, and I'm going to go ahead and zoom in here, there's going to be a cornfield, right? You see this cornfield right across the street in this vicinity, in this area. That is where on March the 4th, we had last seen Caleb Harris, right? He was last seen along this drainage ditch on the other side. That's going to be Ennis Jocelyn, guys, okay? We are on Ennis Jocelyn right now, in between Ennis Jocelyn and
Lexington.
I'm sorry, is it Lexington?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think it is Lexington.
It's Lexington.
But we'll find out. That being said, so the body that was found yesterday was extremely decomposed and dismembered, okay? There was body clothing that they found on the remains of the individual that was found inside of this.
Okay, again, you have to take everything that this guy's saying with a grain of salt. But from what I understand, the person that, I heard from, supposedly seen the picture, they couldn't tell if it was clothing or not. If it was clothing, they said that then it was most likely, there's a very high possibility that it is Caleb, because it looked like it was kind of teal bluish on the lower half of the body. But again, everything this guy's saying, especially about the remains, we all have to take with a grain of salt till we know for sure. But Karen says Corpus Christi Police Chief Mike Markle said it will take anywhere from a month to 6 weeks to identify the remains. Interesting. I thought it would be a little sooner than that, but I wonder if that's going to include the autopsy as well. If maybe they're going to wait and do it all together. There he goes. If wastewater, rain, runoff, etc. gets funneled to that area, yeah, they did have especially a lot of, precipitation because there were storms. If he had fallen into a creek or a ditch, the water might have carried the body there, especially if there had been a lot of rain flood. I think you'd have to fall into the sewer line because this isn't, I don't know if the ditch flows in there at somehow. Again, I don't know all the, as far as what flows into what exactly.
About 20 to 40 feet in depth in a wet well. This is all wastewater, okay? So there is no video cameras on this specific location for this main lift station. This lift station is called Perry Place Pump Station, okay? And it only pumps sewage to the Oso Bay treatment plant, which is going to be on the other side on Ennis Jocelyn,
I didn't think
near
so.
Texas A&M Corpus Christi. What it does, it gets treated and it moves out to the bay so that you won't throw waste, completely wastewater. It has to be cleaned up, right? Okay. That being said,
sorry for the
there may be new evidence that shows some type of wrong or foul play, okay? Foul play is heavily suspected at this time. There's just,
again, take that with a grain of salt because the report said no obvious signs of foul play, but again, that's just, I'm sure that's just, something they got to say for now until they do official autopsy.
There's no way Caleb Harris picked up a very, very heavy manhole cover and entered into this manhole cover, put the manhole cover back on top of himself, and, ultimately passed away, right? And I'm not saying this is Caleb Harris. I'm just saying, just due to the proximity, we have heavy suspicion, right? Now, we got a third police officer here on location. But with that being said, we're going to show you this ditch area. This ditch area was heavily searched during the time that Caleb Harris went missing, okay?
Yeah, I apologize for the wind. It kind of sucks when you're out there filming live and you get the wind going. Is there a new article? Yeah, I'll check. As a matter of fact, we'll go to Facebook, of course, and see if there's an update on anything. Skulls of Justice, thank you so much for the $10 super sticker. You are so sweet. Really helps me out. Again, we're going to be going out for Aiden Clune. We'll be doing a live show because we just got back from a 2-day trip searching for him. Again, we covered a lot of ground, but again, I don't want to get off topic, but thank you so much. Oh, the Cecil Hotel with Lisa Lamb. Oh,
Okay.
that's another strange case.
He was making good grades. He was heavily involved in. He was last seen at the cottage apartments. These are going to be the cottage apartments that you see across this cornfield, guys. Okay, you literally can see it. Now this is where they found the body yesterday. Now, if you can't follow me, I'm sorry, I can't do much for you. And so, just follow me here for a second. Let me try to explain this to you. Okay, so this lift station is heavily maintenance. They clean out the pumps routinely. Okay, now no one's had, even during the search for Caleb Harris, there was no one inside of this wet well. But due to the tropical storm weather,
That's interesting. Did they actually go out and check that? You know, again, we got to take everything he's saying with a grain of salt. But it would be interesting if they did actually check that. Then that would definitely be foul play, unless his body slowly traveled there from him going into the, you know, a sewer line somehow. But I think he'd be, again, it sounds like he'd be, I don't want to say too big, but it sounds
that we just had, all the flooding,
nearly
all
impossible.
of the water, rainfall, you know, that seeps into our sewer lines and could have pushed a body. But the only place, right, and let me try to align this a little bit better for you guys. You see
Gear, honestly, I don't know. This is on Facebook. This is on the official Facebook for missing Caleb Harris. I don't know who this guy is. I do appreciate his reporting. Here it is. You know, I can put the link. I think you have to ask for, you know, permission before. But if you want to, you know, check more stuff out, there's the link there. Of course, you'll have to ask for permission. You know, the typical thing to become part of the community. But yeah, that's the video there. I didn't play. I only recorded about like 3/4 of it. But it was kind of interesting. There's just a little bit more to play, and then a couple more things.
That's where the manhole, it goes underground. You know, I'm not sure how deep the manhole goes under, but it crosses the.
Yeah, so this cone's right here. I do remember they took a close-up picture, and we'll see that here in a bit. I think they showed that on the news as well. But if you see, there's cones. Like, apparently, there's a manhole cover right there.
Street. This is how the sewer lines get to this lift station. So across the street, which is going to be Ennis Jocelyn, right there. There's going to be Ennis Jocelyn and Williams, right? That's Williams and Ennis Jocelyn. You can probably see that green sign right there to the left-hand side of your screen. You see that green sign? That's Ennis Jocelyn and Williams. Okay, that sewer line flows directly to this manhole. Okay, it's all about elevation. This is how it engineers. This is engineering.
Gravity.
It's elevated downward to this lift station so that the sewer water can come into this lift station. But it is directly aligned with Williams Drive. You see where those cones are at, and the police were there for some reason yesterday. I have not got any information confirmed yet as to why they were inside of that specific manhole. Okay, but we're looking at manholes now.
I wonder if they were looking for any evidence, thinking that maybe he was. So assuming, again, I don't know the blueprints, if this is flowing in, if this manhole, if anybody knows in chat, if this manhole, the sewer line flows into the pump station. So we're looking at, let me back this up. So, you know, you got the lines, but you'd have sewer, you know, manhole covers, you know, here. So is this a line that's feeding into it? And so they're checking that maybe to see if there's evidence of somebody dropping him down in that, and that flowed into the pump station. So that's like super close to the pump station again, or this could be one that, I don't know, it wouldn't make sense for it to be one that would be going out. So to me, it's got to be one that's got to be going in, right? I mean, but anyway, yeah, I wonder if they're just looking for any evidence, especially if this, I mean, this stinks of foul play since pretty much day one. And is it possible that he was dropped in there and then he just flowed, I don't know what that's like, 50 plus 50 feet or whatever, from there to there or whatever, into the well. But man, that's pretty wild. This case is gonna really get pretty wild.
To your street, you may see a manhole and it says sewer on there, right? Wastewater sewer or sanitary sewer. There's a plate there. It's a very heavy plate. So that leads me to believe that Caleb or somebody, whoever this individual is, was put here intentionally. Okay, this is not an accident where someone walks into a sewer line and gets flushed into a pump station.
Yeah.
Unless the pump station is where could be the location of a crime scene. Okay. And I don't think, and the only person that's missing in this specific location, which is right across the street from on March the 4th, Caleb Harris disappeared. Okay. Now, get this. There's 117 pump stations here in the city of Corpus Christi, okay? 117 pump stations, and the nearest pump station is going to be by the movie theater on Williams Drive. There's a Century 16 movie theater. Right beside that, you have another little small building like this. It's a pump station. It's called the Williams Pump Station, okay? That pump station pumps water this way as well to get to this Perry Place pump station to...
Sorry, I didn't record all of it. It was like an 18-minute video, and I just wanted to get kind of like just kind of the highlights anyway. But if you want to check out more, I did put the link in there. If you're not a part of that Facebook group, Aquarian One to help with your trip. Chris, it's me, Cynthia G. Had to change my screen name. Heart. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Cynthia, and thank you so much for your membership as well. Let's see here. Bam Jam. He was found in a well. Did he say how he got in there? He was found actually in a pump station. I'll just pull it up again. People are just coming in, so again, we don't know for sure if it's Caleb. Again, we're speculating. There's a good possibility it's him, but of course we can't say 100% right now. So please take all that with a grain of salt until it's confirmed. But considering that it's literally less than a half a block away from where he went missing, there was a leak with the picture of the body. A close source of mine has seen that picture, and again, they said it looked like a male. The body was fairly intact. Obviously, had been through some signs of decomposition. But and then, of course, with the body being in water, it's always tough to say how long the body. I'm sure the medical examiner will be able to tell, but it's, a lot of times when bodies are in water, found in water, or dumped in water, they stay preserved for a long time. It takes them longer to, depending on, I think, the temperature and everything. So it'd be interesting. But yeah, apparently his body was in this well station here. It's very tight. But it's basically where your sewer lines flow into these, what are called pump stations, situated, I don't know how many, they said 117 in the town of Corpus Christi, and then they flow, from the sewer, it flows to what's a wastewater treatment plant, so obviously then, clean the water, whatever. Let's see what else I've got here. But yeah, I mean, that is just pretty wild. So yeah, here's the video. I don't know if there was anything in this video. This is him in the well station. I wish it would show him. So here's him going down. Again, I can't play him talking because it's got this weird music, but this is like supposedly inside one of the stations. I don't know if this one's exactly like the other one or exactly like the one in Corpus Christi, but he says he's down in this little box area and there's kind of a well. I don't know if they pan down to the water or not. And unfortunately, I'm sure he's explaining it, but there's music, so I can't play it, unfortunately. But then, of course, he's showing the machines, and it looks like there's also another manhole that's close by. Looks like they're checking the water levels, but that's what the lift station's for. So pretty wild. Again, where was his last cell ping? So that's a great question. His last cell ping. Again, they couldn't triangulate it for whatever reason. But his last cell phone ping was coincidentally to the west. As a matter of fact, they even said it was close to this pain management area. But they basically, it was kind of like this area here. So kind of west of his last known location. And here we have his remains found. I mean, it's literally, that's like a half a block away from his last known location. But the question is how in the hell did he get in there? I mean, has he been in there for the last 4 months? One interesting, to play devil's advocate, it was super foggy that night. Let me see if I can find that video real quick. So there was also an accident that took place that night because it was so foggy. Sorry, I'm trying to get to the video here. So anyway, there we go. Here's the video. So here's just kind of a picture. This was from the same night. There was a wreck on the interstate nearby. And the guy filming, he was actually one of the vehicles that the driver that was involved. Unfortunately, I don't think it was very bad, but it still was. There was an accident. But you can see how foggy it was. Just playing devil's advocate, I mean, if there was a manhole cover open, which sounds ridiculous, was he just kind of wandering around with his phone and he fell in, and he's been in there for nearly 4 months. Again, I would say that's still a slight possibility. I doubt that happened, but when it comes to true crime, there's so it's just amazing the things that happen. So, but I do think there's foul play involved. They have mentioned that, especially with Jennifer Coffindaffer, who did the interview with the family. She basically said that hinted more or less that there was some kind of foul play involved, and that he was abducted. And then we have the Reddit post where allegedly he was meeting people and hooking up or whatever. And could he have put out a post that night, and then somebody obviously with nefarious intentions came, and unfortunately his life was taken. But then how in the hell did he get in there? Was he in there the whole time, or was his body dumped recently? Such a crazy case. Again, but we still don't know if it's his body, but I think I'm sure it's more likely than not it's his body. Tree Squirrel member for 5 months. Thank you for covering this, Chris. Thank you so much. Chris, are chemicals put into the well at the pump station before it's pumped to waste water treatment plant to dissolve stuff, make it harder to identify? That's what I was talking with my source. Yeah, you would think maybe there would be some kind of treatment for the water that they would put in. Would that affect the body and how it decomposed? That's a great question. Abducted. He ended up right by his house. Jennifer C. isn't always right as well. Oh, I agree, Laura Bell. I mean, you definitely have to take what she says with a grain, everything, and I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of hers, but she did do an interview with the family, and I would say with her sources and stuff that she's posted, I would say some of her stuff has been, verified and true. So, I do, since obviously she was some of the last interviews with the family was with her. I do have to take, what she says. Pipes get smaller before they pump into the lift station in most cases. Yeah, that's interesting. So I wonder if that's why they were looking at the well. Oh yeah, here is them doing the search. Let's see if I can get this just right. Here's when they were searching close side by side. Again, there was some rumors saying that he fell in a manhole, or that there was a manhole that was not covered. Again, I think if that was the case, yeah. So here's them searching. I mean, that's basically what they do in those areas that were close to his home. Would have been obviously the first places they would have searched. And so if there was like a manhole that was supposedly open, I would think they would have checked that out. So again, don't know all the details, but man, it'll be interesting to see what happens. So they're saying a month to 6 weeks before we get information on the DNA analysis. But I lean towards foul play. But again, we still have to wait for his body to actually be identified. Show the line again. There was a manhole there. Show the line again. I don't know if you're talking. I don't think this is a manhole. That's too big. I don't know if that's what you're talking about. They mentioned a manhole that was supposedly. Actually, they circled that thing as well. I don't think that giant thing's a manhole. That's way too big. There could be a manhole there. I don't know. But there was a manhole that's supposedly somewhere nearby. It looked like it was on the road, so I think it was probably sitting right here. I'm assuming that feeds in as well. Again, was he dropped in that manhole and then it fed into the well? Or did they somehow get into this fenced off little building that has barbed wire? How the hell would they get into that? I don't know. The other thing that's interesting, actually, let me pull up this, is there are cameras. There are a lot of cameras around this area, and I'm just talking about traffic cams, but they have cameras here. So here's his apartment here. They actually have cameras situated here. I want to say a lot of the intersection or main intersections have cameras. So let's see here. Let's see if this one does. I'm kind of curious. I'm pretty sure it does. see here. Change that. There we are. Okay, Lexington Row. Let's see if there's one on Lexington. So, unfortunately, oh, that's a bummer. Maybe this place, I mean, that's a dealership. I'm sure they would have cameras as well. Guaranteed. I guarantee these guys got cameras. So if somebody had to drive, and if this is a scenario where his body was dumped, I mean, you only have this road to get to it. Which is this Lexington Road right here. And let me check this intersection here. I know that there's tons of cameras. Oh, this is Google Earth. Let's see here. Oh, it looks like they're actually... Oh, this guy came when they're actually... They don't have the lights up right now. Okay. Interesting. Unless this is a four-way stop. Anyway, but I'm sure that dealership would have cameras, but I mean, this is the only road. So it'll be interesting. Maybe they have a vehicle on camera that they have, but haven't identified it. But again, it's tough because they have to identify the body before you can really start to really go through the scenarios. But man, let me know what you guys think in the chat. I'm just gonna play that area real quick. Get to chat. Tomorrow, let's see, where's that video? Depending on what goes on with Karen Reed, I'll probably do a live with Aiden Clune with the latest. And then with the members and Patreons, yeah, I'm working on stuff and should have out tomorrow morning. So was he in water or in the box? He was in water. The body is in water. From what I understand, it's where like there's levels. I mean, he was literally, from what I understand, he was found. There's like this area like this. I'm sorry, it kind of gets, the graphic kind of gets bad, but basically, I think there's water levels in this thing right here, and the body was just kind of floating in this thing here, from what I understand. That's what was described to me. I could be wrong on certain details, so again, take that with a grain of salt, but I do know the body was floating in a body of basically sewer water. So we got Michelle. Lift stations are usually put in when sewer lines are deeper than the sewer ponds. Apparently this one lifted 40 inches or 40 feet. Is that 40 feet to sewer ponds? Thank you for sharing that, Michelle. That should have been the first thing they checked out. Yeah, the guy said that's what, I mean, the guy said that they had apparently checked this when they originally was searching. So it would be interesting if that was true and his body wasn't in there originally. Unless it was flowing somehow from a sewer line before that. Again, how did he get in there afterwards if it wasn't flowing through the sewer line? Fam Jam, he was getting food. Why would he just go walking and go into a manhole? He must have been going to do something. Yeah, a lot of people think, or some people think that has to do with the Reddit and a hookup, and somehow that went wrong. I'm just trying to get caught up in chat here. Yeah, and that would make it harder too, because the sewer water, like if his body had been in there for a while, and obviously that would kind of cover up the smell of the decomposition. Yeah. Dom, good to see you. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Just see if there's any comments. Chris, where was the last cell phone ping in relation to the lift station? So the last cell phone ping, again, remember they said it wasn't exact, but it was literally this building right here. They said so. Cell phone. So I mean, if you kind of just line all that up, you know, you got the last cell phone ping west of over here. You know, it'd be interesting to note what direction does it flow. That would be interesting if it flowed west. Where's the water treatment? Does anybody know in chat where the water treatment center is? I guess I could look that up. That would tell me, right? I only ask because it makes me wonder if the phone was put in there either by, you know, if it was an accident or if foul play, the phone was in there, or maybe it was just on his body and actually. All right, I'm trying to look up that news. They showed the plant, I think. All right, I'm going to play this one more time. I think it shows the water plant.
Found not far from where a New Braunfels man went missing in Corpus Christi. Now, Corpus Christi police confirming tonight that the remains were found in a water lift station. The collection point is 40 feet deep and had to be drained to recover the remains. Now, to be clear, there's been no confirmation that the remains belong to 21-year-old Caleb Harris, who you see here, who mysteriously disappeared from his apartment in March. We'll, of course, continue to follow this story and bring you any updates as we learn them here on air and online at KENS5.
Confirms the discovery of human remains inside a wastewater lift station near Ennis Joslin at Lexington and Holly Road.
Yeah, several agencies along with CCPD and CCFD have been on scene since 3 o'clock this afternoon. That's also where we find Josh Maxwell. He's live on scene for us tonight.
And the
human remains may have uncovered the remains.
This is the place right here.
Caleb Harris. Harris hasn't been seen since March. The medical examiner is working to identify the remains.
Greenwood Water Recycling Plant. Greenwood Water. Okay, Greenwood Water. Let's just see. I'm kind of curious to see where that's located. Directions. Green. What did we say? Water plant? I know I just looked at it. Water recycling. Okay, Greenwood Water Recycling. I think I misspelled that. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay. Oh, but I need a Ennis. Oh shit. So it is west. Interesting. So it's got to flow west. That's interesting. That to me Let me know what you think in the chat. That could mean the phone could be in the sewer line and went west. I mean, that is interesting. The treatment center is more or less west. Again, just a theory. But it is interesting that it is directly more or less west of his location. That's phone ping was there. And if the water is flowing to the treatment center over here, am I wrong on that? I don't think the Greenwood is the treatment plant for that lift station. Oh, okay. I could be wrong. I thought it was interesting that they showed that plant because I thought maybe that's where it flows to. I could be wrong on that. So take that with a grain of salt. But anyway, that's where the cell phone ping was. I don't want to ramble on too much more. What state is this? This is Texas. This is Corpus Christi. This is Caleb Harris. Been missing since March 4th. And, handsome kid. Going to college. And just kind of disappeared. And there hasn't been really any signs of anything until now. Again, of course, it's just a body that has not been officially identified, but where it was found, it's so close to where he went missing, and it appears, from what I understand, it appears to look like be a male body. Again, you have to take that with a grain of salt. So we'll see. It's going to take a month up to 6 weeks for them to identify the body. Maybe that's also going to be the autopsy, but that remains to be seen. Just G, be safe out there for Aiden and get snacks. No jalapenos for me, but I do appreciate that. Thank you so much. Is it Just Ginge? I think is that how you pronounce it? Just Ginge. I can see it now. But thank you for becoming a member and supporting the channel. That is so awesome. The juicy tomato. Aren't there a lot of guys missing in Texas? I cover missing Pearson a lot, and they're missing everywhere. But because of the size of Texas, yes, there's a lot of people. But then, of course, you have, if you want to get a little deeper, you have the whole Lady Bird Lake incident where you have a bunch of more or less college white male, young to middle-age males that are last seen at a bar and ended up in a lake. And then that just kind of goes along with Smiley Face, where in the Midwest, you had a bunch of bodies, same thing, white college men, leaving bars and then being found in bodies of water. And if this is Caleb, at its core, this is going to be another case of another white college young student being found in a body of water. Like, it's crazy. So we'll keep an eye on this case, and I'm sure it's going to take a bit for them to identify the body, but as soon as there's anything else, we'll definitely cover it. They said the sewer goes to the Oso Bay recycling plant. Okay. Let's see, where'd your comment go? There it is. No, of course that's not the right one. Yeah, I think somebody put the address in it, but unfortunately I didn't see that. Oh, I'd love some boring UK snacks. That'd be awesome. Yeah, Austin, Texas. Thank you, Cat in a Hat. All right, guys, I'm going to head out. I do appreciate everybody. If you haven't already, please hit the like button. It really helps this channel. Again, if you're kind of new to the channel, welcome. And not only we cover true crime, but we do go out and search for the missing. And we have been looking for this kid, Aiden Clune. We actually recently found his shoes. That's the first physical evidence in 2 years that's ever been found in this case. We've been working on it tirelessly. It's cost a lot of funds to go out and do this. But again, by hitting the like button, watching shows, if you can donate and stuff like that, helps out tremendously. And we get back by going out and searching for the missing. So, and we are going to bring Aiden home. It's just going to take a little bit more effort, but we're so close. So. With that, I want to say thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch the show. Thank you to all my wonderful mods. Love you guys. You guys are so amazing. And if you have a family member that recently went missing or has been missing for years, friend, family member, whatever, you can email me. I'd be more than happy to feature them in an upcoming live show. So with that, have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. And we'll probably have a special live tomorrow with the updates with the Aiden case. So thank you guys, and we're going to do the pet outro, and we'll see you tomorrow.